And welcome to the tutorial. Now, if you're still watching, that is, we are in Premiere, and the reason will be explained in a second. But this is the general thing we're going for. And there's a lot going on here, and we're going to take it step by step, but the idea is to have your clips laid out in Premiere first. We're going to go with the first shot here, the second to last, and I believe the last shot for the sake of the tutorial. So I'll show you how to do each of these, and here we go. Select all the clips and go right click, replace with After Effects composition. Alright, it should load up with this. Hold on. Alright, it should load up with this, and this is the first clip, second to last, and the last clip. Now, we could edit like this, but this isn't a very good workflow. So we're going to take all these clips, hit shift click, and we're going to run a script file. So we go File, Script, Run Script File. The idea is a trim compose script taken from Video Copilot. Now, so we take this script file, and we hit open. What it's going to do is it's going to take all these clips and it's going to put them in their own comps. And so we're going to call these trim comps. Yeah, that's good. And handles. And this is how many extra frames on the beginning and at the end they have. We'll just go with 8 to be simple. See, now they have 8 frames here that we can extend out without going into the comp. But I highly doubt we're going to need to do that for the tutorial, but nevertheless, here we are. No. Now that we have them separated out into their own comps, we'll hop into the first clip. So we have this all here. And the first thing we're going to need to do is create the assets for the. To do that, we're going to go Layer, New Solid, and we'll make this and orange solid. We'll call this arrow, because that's pretty much what it is. Okay, then we're going to hit Shift Command C, and bring up the pre-compose, and we'll call this arrow comp. Alrighty. Open this, and we have here solid. Hit Command R, bring up the ruler. Come over here. I'm going to make some adjustments. Alright, so we have a grid. Now, real fun part, we're going to take the pen tool, like this, like that, this, here, 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 and here. Now, that's a little annoying, so let's fix this. And we're going to go G, 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 hit it 3 times and bring up this tool. No, really what we want is B, sorry. B tool, correct that, and we should be good. It tells me this is off. There we go. So we have this. This doesn't look exactly like what I wanted, but that's fine. So I'm going to D, duplicate it, scale down the mask, something along this line, scale it down again, oops. Select the layer, hit Command D for duplicate, click the mask, scale it down again, and this will get you in the ballpark. Okay, once you play around with it, you're going to end up with something like this that doesn't look so nearly as deformed as it did before. But this is the idea. Now once you have this, you need to make the repeating glow effect that it had before. So we're going to go Effects and Presets. Oh yay, we're initializing. That's great. We'll type in glow. Okay, so we're going to take glow. We're going to drop it on this first one. Now, it made it yellow, but that's okay. Go to the beginning of the timeline, and we're going to take the threshold and bring it up until it's orange again. Right there is good, so it's still glowing. For radius, we can down, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. We'll take it down to 26, and we'll put the glow threshold at 70. Okay, now the glow intensity we're going to make 1.2, and that'll give you really that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go frame by frame here. First frame we're going to, second frame, keyframe this one. Click the stopwatch, that's at 1.2. Actually we'll bring that third frame. Hit U to bring up keyframes, drag that over. Okay, now the start, going to be 0, and then go 2 frames past that, and 0. Simple enough. So we have this, right? Then, take this here, copy the glow into these two. But, as you can see, it's not glowing in cycle, so let's fix that. We'll bring up the keyframes, we'll take this, bring it back so that the minute this one ends, the next one starts. And we'll repeat that pattern here. Cool, and we have all 3 of these. Copy this, and then pretty much just copy and paste. Eventually you'll end up with this. A looping animation. And now we have the arrows, and that's fine, but we also have to have the explosion from the arrows. Take this wall frontal hit, bring this in. As you can see, this is just this white explosion. It doesn't really work for what we had in mind, but that's okay. Go to the clip. Let's close off this for now. Bring this over to where we want it. Now we have to make it match. So, okay, take this, effect, color correction, hue and saturation. Colorize. We're going to shift the hue until it's orange. Bring out the saturation. There we go. Let's make it a little bit more orange. That looks good. Now we're going to go, well, hold on. There we go. We go effect. Bring out the glow again. Make this 15. Threshold 6, and call this 1.1. We're a little bit closer, but it's still too good of quality for an 8-bit effect. So, I'm going to bring up the mosaic, spell it correctly, mosaic feature. That's not what I want. Here, mosaic under stylize. Drop this in, make this 100 by 100, not a negative, thank you. Aha, there we go. So we have this explosion, arrow comp, but to bring these into the actual effect, so we'll go back to the beginning, we'll go take this, and we'll go effect, foundry, camera tracker. Camera tracker is a brilliant program in that I don't have to go into something else. All I have to do is click these buttons in this order. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit track features, and let that run through its thing. We're back. See, all these lines, lots of lines. Craziness. Surprised it did so well. I mean, look at that. But it did, and we're done. Now, go solve camera. Now, if this gives you an error, you can tweak some of the settings in tracking, and that should work. See, solve failed on frame 422. Okay. So, once it's done, once you've solved the camera, it should look something like this. Oh, yay, it's solved. Okay. Yeah. Once you have that, you're good. Setting up camera data. Apparently, there's another loading bar. To tell you about a loading bar. Okay, then we're going to go create scene. The brilliant part about this is as soon as the beach ball of death goes away, or keep spinning. Okay, there we go. And we have a camera and a null object already set up for 3D space. So we take this, with all these points, and we go to one we want. So let's go to where the clip is here, and we'll say this one. Now we're going to hit right click and we're going to create a new null object specifically for this. And then we can come through here and so make one for this too, like this null object. So hold on, select it, right click, and create null object. Okay. So we have two null objects specifically for this. Come here to this one on the wall. Now I'm going to do it again. Select one of this blue object and create a third null object. Okay, there we go. We have three null objects that will all track our checkpoints. Alright, now we bring the arrow in. Arrow count. Now of course the arrow is it's too sharp for this 8-bit effect. So we're going to take, like we did before, the mosaic tile, drop it on, add a 0 to these, and we're good. We might add a little glow. It's already got a glow, but glow radius. No, apparently we won't do that. But what we'll do is we'll go here and we'll go to add an additive layer so that it glows. Alright, come in here. And what we want is we want it to line up with this. So I'm going to make this a 3D object. Pick whip it to this one. You should be good to go. You can see here, it matches the scene, and it stays in there. And we'll repeat that process for the next 4. Alrighty, so once you pick whip all the arrows to the assigned camera nulls, here we have these 3. Here we are, and it is pick whipped to the 4th null, and we're good to go. As you can see here, as soon as it hits the wall, the one we had here, when connected with the null, will line up with the hit. Now all you have to do is make sure that it appears right when they get hit, when he steps on the layer, and it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. Copy and paste that effect down the line. So here's another one. When he steps on it, boom, explosion. Now the thing we're having a problem with is, as you can see here, it doesn't work in the environment because the pole will go over it, or even worse, stuff like this. And so to find it, boom, the person goes over. The trick to this is to mask out the person and the poles and all the objects we're going to do. So, okay, so we're going to take this layer and we're going to duplicate it. Currently we have to save, probably because it's crashing. That happens all the time. Yay! We're crashing, we're just saving. We're saving because I hit the wrong shortcut. Okay, take the footage here. Oh no, I think we're crashing. This has been awesome. So what we're doing. Yay! You crash some more! And crash! And crash everywhere. Explodies. Death. Yeah, we're crashing. The trick to fix the problem where it doesn't seem to interact with the environment in terms of like move behind stuff is to duplicate this layer, Command D, bring it up here. Now for render time reasons, we're going to get rid of camera tracker for this, as we don't need it. Oh yay, brightened up the keyboard. Okay, and we're going to call this mask, hit enter to rename layers, and we'll call this footage so there's no confusion. Then we're going to hit G to bring up the pen tool. I know it's not P, but P is position. So you're going to basically cut out the person so that it doesn't interfere with the environment. Mask of the person, and the idea is to make your mask as precise as possible, but we honestly don't even need to do this. And we're going to hit M, mask path, and then basically you just go through, and I know you go frame by frame and you mask this out. You could rotoscope it, but I think honestly for me this is the way I would do it. And in fact, the way I did do it. Alright. I have all the masks with the layers as you can see here. Now, when it comes to the point, it moves behind me. Also, when we get up here, I have a mask for the map. Here, I've cut out the pole. Let me repeat this for my arm here. For stuff like the pole here. And you just basically go through the footage and you mask out any parts that should overlay that. And that's pretty straightforward. But one thing we are missing is the counter that should be here. This is fairly simple. Okay, so we're going to make a new solid. To this we need Shift Command Y. Apparently not Shift. Oh wait, where is it? I'm sorry. We need Command Y to bring up the solid settings, and we're going to make this a call this block. That's what we'll call it. Make it a sort of a deep red. Okay. Shift Command C, block comp. Probably could have just deleted the 1. Hit OK. We're going to enter this. Now we don't really need it to be this big, so we're going to make a mask. Oh, not a shape layer. Don't do that. Mask, and we'll make it like this. And then, once we have this, we're going to, just for reference, we're going to take this and type 3. Except what we want is we want it to be in this font here, 8-bit Wonder. So you take this, scale it down, drop it in the middle. I mean, that looks good right there, but we need some more stuff. So I'm going to go Effect, Generate Ramp. Ramp from here through here to emulate the original clip. The sun was coming from over here, so it should cast a ramp like that. We'll make the start of the ramp a bright red, and the end of the ramp, say, a dark red. And that should cast that. God. So I have this ramp for this thing, but I don't want to repeat the ramp for that. What I want to do is create a depth, and we're going to do this by duplicating the layer, Command D, dragging this under. I'm going to call this 3 shadow. And we're going to go Effect, Color Correction, Exposure way down. We're going to move it slightly like this. Exposure down even more. Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Blur that out. And we'll go T, and then we'll lower the opacity. Maybe lessen the blur a bit. I know what you're thinking, why didn't we just apply a drop shadow? And I'm going to cover that in a bit. So we take this clock, we're going to go Effect. Alright, and we're going to take a radial wipe. And what that does is when you up the transition here, bring that back to 0, it's going to create this effect. But we don't want it to do that exactly. We want to move the center to here. And now, it's getting rid of it like a countdown clock. So, we start at 0. I'm going to create a here, like this. Move, say, to 1, and make it 100. So we have this, and it disappears. Now, with this, okay, U to bring up keyframes, K to go to the next keyframe. We have this. So let's go here. Let's take this clock and we'll duplicate it 3 times. And this, I'm going to offset the time. Instead of being here, I'm going to go like this, offset the time even more. Go to this, we're going to go Effect. Alrighty, we're going to go Effect, Color Correction, Exposure. We're going to lower the exposure of said layer. Copy this and repeat it over here. Actually, what we need to do is we need to put these layers under this. And take this layer, this layer, and drop it even lower. And then put that under this one. There we go. Now let's lessen the offset because this seems to be ridiculous. So we just want this and just a little bit of this. So we get this cool like 3-dimensional feel to the radial wipe. It's not just a single layer. But the problem is, as you can see here, the drop shadow that's supposed to be on the radial wipe is applied to nothing. And this is why we didn't apply a drop shadow to the layer but made it separate. Because we go here, take this radial wipe, copy, and apply it to the shadow layer. Now hold on. And apply it to the shadow layer. Now, boom, it gets sliced off with these. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and get to here, J, to go to the previous keyframe. We'll go to here, bring it up to K, and we're here where there is nothing left. We're going to take all these layers, hit Command Shift D, and that cuts them in half, and delete the second portion. Because we want all the clips to end when we get here. Take these, and we're going to take all this and duplicate the layers. Bring it up and drag it over. Alright, now instead of 3 this time though, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to type in, type in 2. Of course, shadow doesn't consist, so go over the shadow layer, type in 2, and voila, you have this. But I don't like the red color for the 2. Simple fix. We go over here, we change this to say an orange. Let's do a reddish orange. So we get this, and then we'll go with same thing, reddish orange, but a deeper color. We take this ramp, copy, apply it to these layers, and voila, we have an orange one. Now, this process is pretty basic. It hits like this, and we take this, and we duplicate it, bring all the layers up, drag it over, take this one, change it to say a yellow, let's make that look yellowish orange, make that the same thing, yep, it's a little bit brighter, there we go, darker yellow, take a ramp, Command C for copy, all these, Command V for paste, good, but we don't want the 2, T, a 1, of course, go over here, took the 1. Now, 2, 1, and we're ready for it. Take all these, repeat the process, Command D, bring it up top, loop over, drag to there, come to here, change this 1 to go. Now it's a bit big, but that's okay. I want to change this first, go. Now select both these layers, bring it over, and hit bring up S for scale, and we're going to scale it down until it fits in there. That looks good. Hit S to get that to go away. Then go to here, and we're going to make this a green. and make this a darker green. Seems good. Let's just maybe drag this closer. Okay. And then take this ramp, copy, paste to those two, and you're good to go. Alrighty. So, once we have all that done, we're pretty much just color correcting and adding the HUD for this shot. Now, first thing to do is make sure you get the cameraman in the window. That's definitely what we want. Alright, so we're going to pop over here into the one we're working on. Hey look, he's still there. What do you think? Yay. Composite him out, and yeah, no. Okay, so we're going to add a color correction. We're going to take all this, composite, and go, I'm going to call this footage. Alright, so we've got this now. Go Effect, Color Correction, Curves. We're just going to add a basic curves adjustment. So we'll drop this down because I filmed flat, so we're just going to adjust the contrast a little bit. I'm going to take the blue, maybe boost the shadows with blue a bit. Take the red, maybe counteract that. Maybe take the green, even it out a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now the next thing is adding lens flares. So we're going to go to this part. You want a blue flare to come in from the roof. As we saw in the original footage, we're going to make a new solid. Call this Optical Flares. Color of the solid's relevant. Then go Effect, Video Copilot, Optical Flares. We're going to pop over to the Options tab here, and we'll drag it to the roof here, and we're going to go Stripe Pro presets. I'm just going to use a preset here for the, remember where it was, let's find it. Okay, loading times. What? Vertigo. It's kind of cool. Maybe if I took it down a notch. Alright, we'll use this one. Effect. Drag it to the roof. Maybe take the brightness down a little bit. And then we're going to do, take the transfer mode and make it add. So we have this. That's good. Do the brightness up a little bit. And maybe change the color. A little bit more green to match the footage. Not that green. Cancel. I like it like this. No, let's go back actually. Maybe make it a little bit more green to match the footage. Yeah, that looks good. Turquoise or whatever. We have this, and keyframe it. So coming back here, bring it over to this place, and we'll go like this. We'll say position X, Y, and brightness. We'll hit U to bring that up. Point raise right under it. Over here. Brightness up. 90 is good. Hit J to go back, and we'll bring this down to say 20 or something. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then we'll go back here to where he's pretty much past it. Drag it over here and bring this down to 20. And there we have it. Apply some to the rest of your scene. You have all these lens flares applied everywhere. You basically just keyframed and moved and same thing, position, brightness, just repeat that. Now the fun part, the heads-up display. So, make a new solid, and we'll call this time. Okay, again, color is relevant, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to type in numbers. And that's what we want. Apply this. This is fine for now. Position, put this here. We're going to make this position, actually, if I go options, we're going to make the alignment left. This is here. Maybe scale it up a bit. Change it to time code 24. And fill color is white. Then we're going to go into options. I'm going to change this from Geneva to Typograph Pro, a brilliant thing. But I'm going to change, style, regular. Hold on. Typograph Pro, and we're going to do style semi-bold italic, which should give you this. Alright, now that will simply clock out the numbers the entire time. That's good. But what we need to do is we need to create a previous time. So we're going to duplicate this layer. Hold on. Click on the layer, hit Command D to duplicate. Take the position of the duplicated layer and bring it down. And then find a time. I'm going to offset the time to just something ridiculous. Say it took him 3 minutes. There. And then we're going to scale it down a bit so that it lines up with this here. Cool. Shift Command C, pre-composite, move all attributes to new layer, otherwise that won't work. And we're going to hit last time. So now that all the attributes are in another layer and it itself is a composition and not a solid, we can go time freeze, and that way it stays at 3:11:07 while this number can clock away. Cool. So that part of the heads-up display is done. See? Easy. We're going to come in here. I'm going to take this and this. We're going to pre-compose this and call this numbers. Okay. A map picture that I took of my computer of the place we were at. So I'm going to go to this, but as you can see here, we have the pinpoints here and a point here. So we're going to need to remove that. I'm going to Shift Command C. We're going to call this map. Pop into here to its own layer. And this is a rather simple fix where I'm going to duplicate the layer, Command D, and I'm going to take the square tool here, just cut out a part of the grass here. There we go, and drag that over. Of course, it doesn't work exactly, but that's where we go. F for feathering. Let's actually go MM, bring up the feathering, and bring up the mass expansion. And just fiddle with these till you have it right. That looks okay. I'm going to come here, Command D, bring up the square tool here and select, say, this, and drag this over here. Maybe expand it out that way a little bit. Alright, now I have this. As you can see, it's cut out here, and the original thing is gone over here. Alright, cool. Now that we have this fairly blank map, you can sort of ignore this stuff here. It's not really that important, as we'll only be seeing a small section of the map anyway. But this is the finish line, so we had to make sure that was clean. Now, what we need to do is go make the section that we're actually going to see. So, we hit Command Y, make a new solid, and call this white circle. And of course, make it white. Okay, turn that off for now. Go up to here, hold it until it becomes an ellipse tool, and then shift to make it a perfect circle. Go like that. I think that is a fairly good range. What we're going to do, turn that back on. Duplicate the mask by selecting it in Command D. Select all that, expand that out. Go like this. There we go, but this is the problem. So we go like this, and we hit subtract, oops, I'm sorry, add, bring the second one above, and then we're going to hit subtract. We have this. Let's actually make this a little thinner. There we go. Let's actually bring the quality up to full. Now, I want a thinner black line inward to separate from the white for the sake of consistency with the heads-up displays. And that's rather simple to do. We just take this and we hit Command D, and we go Layer, Solid Settings, make this white and make it a black, and then we bring up M, take the layers until they're both selected here, double click on them, line it up, and just scale it down. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this under the white, and we're going to call this black circle. Okay, there we go. Now what we need is the icon for the player and the checkpoints. And the player is rather simple. We're going to hit Command Y, and we're going to call this player. And we'll make this a red. It's really simple. Turn that off for now. Take the pen tool. Just draw a little triangle. Oh, oops. Select the layer first. Just draw a little triangle like that. Adjust it so it's a little bit more even. Then bring that back on, and yeah, we're pretty much good to go there. We can make it a little bit more even, possibly. Scale it down. Okay. And basically, as long as we keep this in the center, and when we start worrying about the rotation, do the player's rotation and moving to the map, we'll just make sure that this is in the center and this stays the same. Okay, and we'll sort of move the map along with it. But let's take all of these, Shift Command C, I'm going to call this map. There, now it's a separate layer. Okay, we have this. To make the checkpoints, we're going to go Command Y, and call this check point. And we'll make it a yellow to match the yellow arrows. Okay. Okay. Now turn that off for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to Shift Command C. I'm going to make this checkpoint comp again. Probably could have just got rid of the one. Move all attributes. Actually, it didn't really matter. We didn't really have much attributes in it anyway. But here's this. And we're going to go make a circle. Hold on. Make an ellipse circle. And then just like before, duplicate the circle. So this time, I'm going to be smarter about it. Drag it inward. So apparently we're not going to be smarter about it. Subtract. Okay. Let's adjust this so that it matches the consistency. And then we're going to duplicate the checkpoint, scale it down, duplicate it again, and just repeat this process till you have a lot of circles going in. This is basically like the arrow in that it's just going to be a bunch of sequential shapes glowing in sequence. Oops, don't do that. And this doesn't really have to be exact for how small it'll be, so just sort of guesstimate what you think looks good. And then the last one, just go in here. Let's make that a little smaller. And hit M, take this bottom mask, and delete it. And then you can use rulers and line that up if you wish. But I think we'll be okay for the sake of the tutorial. And then, just like before, repeat the glowy pattern for the mask so that, first frame no glow, couple frames glow, and you're going to end up with something like this. Once you're done, you should have this sequential glow sequence. We'll go back to the map comp. Map comp for consistency. Let's call it something else. But so we have this massive thing. I'm going to scale it down. Oops, down. Scale it down. And put it where a checkpoint is. So there's like one here, and then we'll duplicate it and bring it out, and there's another one here, and I think there's another one here. And you basically just repeat this pattern for all the checkpoints on the map. You have something pretty close to this with repeating cycled circles. Now you come over here, and you basically keyframe the map position, which is the picture, just to move along with where it is on the actual clip, and you can reference the clip as you go along. And basically we also have I believe we have a rotation. And what you see here is I've taken the player and I've triggered a rotation keyframe for when the picture wants to rotate, and this is just as a reference to rotate it when we get to the actual footage, when we bring it back. So I've taken all these and I've made them easy ease keyframes, and you basically do that by selecting the keyframe, go on the right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. So once you have all this, you're going to come down here and just copy this, make it bigger, and make it red for the final one. And that's basically all there is to it. So just make sure that the mini-map falls along with the same timing as the clip here. But for consistency, we're going to name it mini-map. Okay, so it's different from the actual map comp. We have this here, and as you can see, he runs along and the position moves as he goes. We sort of delete the circle thing here as he hits the checkpoint so that it's consistent. Alright, the next thing we want to do is create that little triangle that you saw up here that sort of indicates where the finish line is. And to do that, I'm just going to hit Command Y. We'll call that pointer. We'll make this let's make an orangish red solid there. Okay, yeah. Turn it off now. And we're just going to take this and we're going to make a triangle. And we'll just go like this. You can cut into here, that's fine. Because what you're going to do, you're going to make another mask with the ellipse tool over the actual mini-map. And when we go like this, we have this as, we turn it on, we go down here and we hit subtract, and see, there it is again. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go into harsh light, overlay. We pretty much have this pointer here. It looks just sort of dropped on. And that's because it's not consistent with the white theme up here and the white outline to the map here. To do that, we're just going to go Layer Styles, stroke. This is going to be a simple solution to this. Come down here in stroke, make the color white, and you can adjust the size as needed. I'm going to go with 4 is probably, well, let's make that 5 is probably good. And then just come in here and adjust the actual map sizes to change it. You can play with that as needed. And then take this pointer and make sure that the center of the pointer is not here, but where the player icon is. And that way when you rotate it, it rotates with the minimap. And what you could even do is if I bring up the minimap rotation, so when we do that, you could alt-click on the rotation of this and pick whip it to the rotation of that if you really wanted to be precise about it. We're looking good. But we have to have this thing over here. I did this by going Command Y. We're going to make another solid, and we're going to call this white circle. We'll call this, make it a white part. That's okay. And then really what we want to do is Shift Command C, pre-compose, and call this like pickup bar or something like that. Alright. When we come into here, we're going to make a circle for the part with, oh come on, not that again. There we go. A circle, voila. Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. There we go. Circle. Circle. Good. Come here, and that's where the item will go. So we come into here, H to move around, the hand tool, V. Okay, now we're going to go Effect, Generate, Ramp, and we're going to go Start of Ramp, and End of Ramp about here. Make this a white, never understood why the start is black, it's always bugging me. End of Ramp, black. Make this a radial ramp. And blend with original. That's good. I'll just do that. Okay, so we have this. But we need a black outline. But as you can see, the background is black. So I'm going to make a new solid, Command Y. We'll call this BG. It's already white. Okay, this is just so we can see. We'll drop it back here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. Call it white circle outline, and then get rid of the ramp. Actually go layer, solid settings, and we'll make this a black solid. Okay, but now, so I already have the mask here, and this is what I wanted. Command D, duplicate the mask, bring in, and this is going to be our subtractive mask. You know, simply repeating the same pattern we did with the glowy circles. Subtract, and voila, we have an outline. Now we need to make that trail part that goes over here. And this is simple. We just go layer, new solid, make it a white solid, and call this white bar. And turn that off. Go over here to the, let's do rounded rectangle tool. Just in case it gets seen or something. Comes over here, and you can't see it, but that's okay. I want it under the white circle, but you can't see it because the background's white. And we're going to call it D, and basically just repeat this. Do solid settings, make it black. Instead of white bar 2, we'll call white bar outline. Okay. Now you can see this, but that's okay. I'll bring this down, and I'm going to take the white bar, make it a little bit smaller. If I can select it, that'd be awesome. Okay. Oh, this is a good size. What we don't have is that middle bar, so I'm going to go into this. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. Alright, so we're going to go Command Y, bring up a new solid, and just go black bar. Okay, make it invisible, make it a rectangle, and just go like that. Make sure it's above the white bar but below the white circle, and you should be good as soon as I turn it back on. Alrighty, alright, create this, and it doesn't have the radial effect like this does, and that's a simple fix. We'll go over to the white bar here, go Effect, Generate Ramp, start here, and end. Okay, and end. Apparently it doesn't like the end bar for some reason. I'm not really sure. White bar. Nice. Put it right here. Then go radial ramp and sort of ramp scatter. Ooh, that's not what I want at all. And sort of just extend this out. And then change the colors. So it's white with black. And we're looking good. And then we have this, and we just have to add scrolling text, and that's basically just typing in song name, changing the color to a red color. Good, it's already 8-bit, and scaling it down so it fits in the space. Then we'll start over here with it off screen, go P position, and then maybe in a second it's gone all the way across here. Now all we have to do is go to K, create a mask, and then hit M, keyframe the mask path, go back to the beginning, and hit V, select the mask, bring it over so it's in the exact same spot as it was originally, and then you have scrolling text. But let's put this song name under the black bar so that it does that. Cool. Now hit on the name, hit Command-Shift-D, and basically just duplicate this layer and repeat it all the way through the animation, and you'll have that thing right there. And now we have the looping text here. As you can see, it simply just repeats that clip all the way through. And that's that. But what we don't have is the radial endurance meter that goes around here. And to do that, we're going to make a new layer. And call this endurance. Something along that line. And we'll make this red. Yeah, this works. Okay. Get rid of that so I can actually see. And we can go like this, create an ellipse tool, and I'm going to outline the circle where it's going to wrap around. And it's going to wrap around, I think it was like this. Maybe not that much. That seems to be good. And then we're going to create a rectangle here and have it do this. And we'll turn this on. And we're going to move this below all these other layers except the background. Don't want to do that. Okay, so we're going to fix this second mask here. Whoops. Double click on a point to select the mask and then move it on that point, and that should be, yeah, that's pretty much a straight line. Okay, now let's solve this problem real fast where we have this background, and I don't really want a background. What I want is to replicate the endurance meter, except we're going to go call this outline, just outline the whole thing, why not? And we're going to go layer, solid settings, and in here we can change the initial settings, and we're going to change that to white, like the background. And then we're going to get rid of the background so we can actually see. Drop this below everything, and then maybe scale this up. Actually, you know what? We're going to undo that. I'm going to duplicate this mask. Yeah, okay, so we actually did that. Drag it out. Oops. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the same additive inner subtractive mask that we used for the circles and a couple other things. So we're going to take this, and we're going to take this initial mask, drag it down, oops, go back to this, and make this subtractive. Then, when we get rid of this, see, it has the black space there. Okay, cool. I'm going to take this, because this is still additive, and move it up so that it lines up, and so let's shorten it. Then, when we remove the endurance meter, that should be good. But what we have is this, you can see it here, this kind of white layover thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the square mask here, duplicate it, double click to select it, drag it down, and go like this, and then just go subtract. And there we go. Now we have that white bar that we wanted. And that's good. That'll stay this way, but the endurance meter has to stay like this. And the thing is, the endurance meter has to do a radial wipe all the way down here. And this is really easy to do because it's actually effect, transition, radial wipe. Simple as the counter that we did before. So come along here, place it in the center of this circle, and then it's just a percentile value, but as you can see, it's starting over here and going clockwise. So counterclockwise, and that fixes that problem, but it starts here again. To fix this, we're going to start angle. I'm going to make this 90, and then wipes. Now I could have done something to make this even, but it doesn't really matter that much, so that's pretty much that. Now when we do the speed boost, you simply take the icon of the speed boost and put it in here, and type in speed boost in this section, and you're good to go. And you can see the completed effect. So we have the mini map, the clock, and the speed boost bar. Cool. I think we are done with this shot. So we have actually the third to last, not second to last clip, because there's the close-up and the jump and whatever. But we have this, and in this clip, the effects that we have are the speed boost, the ghost over here, and of course the heads-up display. Well, we're going to knock out the, like before, we're going to do the assets, and then we're going to worry about compositing, and then we'll do the heads-up display last. So the first things first is to get the ghost right, because that's honestly harder than the speed boost here. Now I have this clip over here, which is the ghost clip. If I turn that on, you can see the footage of the ghost, and I've sort of keyframed it. I've gone frame by frame here. You know, done some scale and rotation and stuff. Actually, I think I didn't use scale at all. I don't even know why I have that keyframed. Hit U to bring up all keyframes. So I have this position rotation, and that way it lines up with the initial clip when I take the opacity down to 70, which is what the ghost will be at. So it's at a good position. So I'm going to go to the beginning of the frame, and I'm going to bring the opacity back up. What we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and what you could do is, one thing you could do is you could double click on this to bring this up, and you can go over here to the rotor brush and select him out. But, you know, I'm kind of stuck in my old way, so I'm going to use the pen tool and just actually cut him out. of the environment. And this is much more time consuming than the roto brush, but I found honestly to like it much more. But that all depends on the workflow. I think I used the roto brush for 2 other shots simply because this would have taken vastly too long. And I'm not being as exact as I should be, but this is for the tutorial, and you don't want to see me doing this for hours. I mean, you probably don't want to see me taking this long, as I already am. But you basically just want to go along, cut him out, and then you see he's already cut out. Yay! It's done, right? It's done, guys. And you take the mask, M, and actually F. Let's feather it out a bit. And then we're going to take T and we take the opacity down to 70. And this is the general look. Let's bring the hit this button to turn off the mask so they're still on, but they're not visible. And you can sort of play around with the mask expansion, maybe expand it out a bit or whatever, and just fiddle around with that. You know, maybe lower the opacity or bring it up. But the big thing is that you simply have to go frame by frame and, you know, come here and adjust the mask as needed. And basically repeat that process. Maybe select all these. Hold on. What am I doing? There we go. Hold them over and, you know, just make that work. I have this here where I've now gone through and, as you can see, masked every frame out. And that seems to work well enough in the short amount of time that this is on frame. But what we now have to do is repeat the effect that we used to cut the ghost out, to cut the main player out so that it can have a speed boost of just him and not the environment behind him. Yay for more crashes. See, that's twice. Yeah, I know it's offline. It's because it crashed. But don't worry. I'll be online in no time. Right? Reopen? What the fuck do you think I just did? Go away. I'm opening up the file. Misfire. I don't think I really fiddle around with those extensions. Oh, okay. Wait. Cancel. Yeah. Yes. Load. Come on. Do it. Come on. I know you can do it. Load. Come on. What? If you're done, then be done. If you're done, then be done. Oh, bastard. Okay, ready. Now the idea is to take this initial clip, see, and I've already masked it out, as you can see here. And you pretty much just go frame by frame. And you don't, you know, it's frame by frame, but you don't have to be exact, especially on this part that's off the comp. But it's not nearly as precise as you want this ghost to be. Actually, I probably should have been more precise with this ghost, but like right here, as you can see, I just sort of whatevered it, and I'll tell you why that doesn't really matter in a second. But just get this general idea to the end of the clip. Ideally, you'd want to go those extra 8 frames after, in case the editor needs to take that out, because in trim comp we gave it 8 frames. But I knew this was the length I wanted, and I was tired. It was at 1 a.m. Right? Everyone? Right? Yeah. Okay. So, we're going to go, I don't know what we're doing. I'm just talking. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Right. We're going to make the speed boost. So I take this layer, and I duplicate it, and then we're going to go back here. Let's offset it by 1 frame. Yeah, that's what I want. Let's go here. So this is actually 1 frame off of the real thing. Cool. Then I'm going to go M, make this mask add, so that it does in fact do that. That's what I want. And then I'm going to go Effect, Color Correction, Hue and Saturation, and we're going to colorize this and make it, let's make it an orange. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But I need to go Effect. Actually, no, I'll come over here. We'll initialize. Yay, more initializing. We'll go Glow. We'll bring it stylized glow. Come over here. Yay, it's glowing way too much. And we'll bring this to 27 and maybe 2700. Yeah, that'll really spread it out some, and we'll bring the intensity down to 0.5. That looks good, but as you can tell, way too sharp and doesn't really work for the speed boost. So our solution, oh, make it really tiny. That's our solution. We'll just shrink the image. No one will ever know. Yeah, not what I wanted at all. Motion tile. Bring that and we'll drop it on this, and it'll do not at all what I wanted. I'm sorry. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Mosaic, thank you. That's what I want. Mosaic, stylize. And we'll make a really blocky image. It'll be awesome. What we want is, I believe, 150 and 150. And here we go. Boom. Actually, you know what? Let's unboom that to make that 200. That's a little bit better. So we have this ghost effect here, and that trails behind. And because it's all pixelated, the mask didn't really need to be that precise. And we'll solve this more when we color correct. See, this is why you fix the ghost. Yeah. And we duplicate, and I'm going to offset this one by 1 frame as well. But we're going to go into here, I'm going to bring the hue into red. Yeah. Done. Speed boost is done. Actually, I'm sorry, no it's not. Yeah, I'm so smart, right? Duplicate this layer, M, bring up add, and come over here. And there we go. But let's bring MM, bring the mask expansion in a little bit. Feather it out a lot. Just so it seems to be wrapping around the body and not so much directly through it. Let's bring it a little bit more. There, that looks okay. I don't know if that's what I actually did in the real version, but I kind of like that. Okay, so honestly, that's all there really is to it. But what we're going to do is I'm going to pop over here to the previous shot. It's going to load. That's totally what we planned. Then I'm going to take all this, and actually let's go Shift Command C, like I've said a million times in this tutorial, and we're going to make this heads-up display. So that'll make it one comp. Then you Command Copy, jump over to here, and hit Command V, and voila. Now, usually you'd come in here and we'd separate the time out and fix it because this time is wrong. And actually what we do is we'd usually come into this comp, which has the trim comp. Due to an error, it doesn't have that, but come in here and we'd paste the heads-up display in here as to accommodate that. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to show you shot by shot. So we have this, but what we don't have is layer, new, adjustment layer, or Shift Command Y, Option Command Y, and we're going to do the color corrections in this instead of the actual clip. And go effect, color correction, curves, and I'm just going to run through a quick curves adjustment. Again, shot flat, so up the contrast. Going to blue, drop some blue in the shadows, bring that in the middle, bring red into the mid, and make sure it doesn't bleed into the other sides. And to balance it out, we'll add some green. Into the highlights. That seems too red. It seems way too red. Something's. So that's okay. I can go with that. It's like histogrammy though. I almost want to undo some of this. It's a bit too much of a curve. Yeah, we'll go with that. Kind of like that look. It's not the look we went with in the final version, but it works. And the reason it's an adjustment layer is usually because then I can control the actual amount. If there's too much contrast or something, actually, there's not enough contrast, I think. Yeah, that looks good. And we have this. Okay, that's too much. We'll go back. So, Command Z. There we go. We have this counter going, and this is pretty much the shot. I mean, just oh yeah, that's beautiful right there. It's totally what we intended. But you know, we get this going on. Speed boost, ghost, has a display. Good. And let's jump over to the final shot. Alright, here's the final shot, and as you can see, we have the assets of the circle, the arrow, and the big finish line, along with the ghost here. There's no heads-up display, but that's okay. So we have the final shot of jumping, and come on. It's a beautiful roll. Anyone? Okay. And here is the ghost and a winged angel. I need to stop drinking Monster and just focus on the tutorial. Okay, I've also positioned this, as you can see, with all these little squares to overlay exactly where I want it to, due to it not being that precise. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. Just get generally where I want it. Look, it's invisible. No, it's the see-through layer, even though it looks like this one's see-through. Yeah, I know. Alright, so we have this. Now the trick for this one is I could go through and I could pen tool this out, but I'm actually going to show you guys how to roto brush this one. Oh, okay, cool. And we're going to come in here, and let's go roto brush. We're going to start at the end and do it, and the reason for that is the span gets annoying when it's in the middle. This being the span. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to Option W, Option minus H, and we're going to Option W and Option. Okay, so hold on. Option W and Option. We're going to make sure that's all gone. Yeah, that's generally what we. I mean, we can be more precise, but this is good. Then we're going to go through the whole thing like this, span it out, and then it's going to sort of render all these frames out, roto brushing them accordingly. And you basically just go through frame by frame, you know, back through the animation, or forward, depending on where you started, and just make sure it's all good. Like, this isn't okay. Just fix this stuff. And then just go through, and then when you're all done, hit freeze. It'll lock the frames, and you will be good to go. You will have something like this, where it's actually, you know, rotoed out. And I rotoed out the shadow. Went back and did that. That's actually a great thing about using the rotor brush versus the pen tool, is that you don't have to do so much for like the shadow and all this. It just sort of does that for you, and this is a faster process as far as this clip went. Still not sure I'm sold on the whole thing, but it's definitely a nice tool. But it's a ghost, so we need to drop the opacity. I'm drop it down to 70 as previous, but I don't like that, so I'm going to drop it down to 50, and yeah, that's a lot better. And basically good to go on that. Now, of course, finish line. But before we do that, we have to go and get all the elements. And it said finish, and then an arrow pointing down, and a circle. Now, the circle I went over and stole from the mini-map. This, and if we open up the mini-map, we have all these checkpoints. So I'm going to go over to the very end here and actually steal this this big circle here. See, it's a red looping circle. So go back in the minimap and take this and hit Command Copy, and then hop into the actual clip here and paste it. Drag it out, and we'll get rid of this hue and saturation and possibly scale it to, I don't know, 100% or so. Yeah, that looks good. Hide that for now. And we also have to get the arrow from the checkpoints. And it's again just simply hopping over to the footage here. And stealing this arrow comp here that we have, from before. Take this arrow, hit Command Copy, and go over to the footage. Footage. Where are you, footage? You're not footage. You're footage. Come over here, and you paste the clip. Make sure to go into P and move the position, and make it a two-dimensional layer, and scale it back up. So we'll make this 100. And move the solo, and yeah, that looks good. But let's get rid of that. Okay, so we have the circles and the arrows, and what we need now is let's type the finish. So finisho. That's French. I'm an American. I don't know French. I don't know. What? Surprisingly, I know geography, though. That's rare for Americans. Okay, 8-bit wonder. I'm going to come over here, and we're going to go scale down. And we're going to make this red. Yes, that's what I want. So we have all three of the assets to do the finishing goal, except what we don't have is the tracking. So I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to go Effect, the Foundry, Camera Tracker, and Track Features. Okay, so once it's done, it should look something like this. Come on, it's beautiful. It still works. Cracks me up every time. I mean, look at it. Look at this. Look at this. Or don't look at it. See? Wait, actually, you know what? Let's go back. Just come on. All those lines. I don't know what's going on with these red ones, though. Vertical's bad, I'm assuming. So don't try and link your stuff to those. Never tried it, but I'm assuming it would be very, very bad. Okay, let's go here to the comp here. Let's actually go to the end of where this ghost clip is, because right about here, like this, and go Command click, create null object. Parent of the layer cannot be itself nor of its children. That's interesting. Right. You know why it says that? Because we have to solve the camera. Okay, once this is done, we're going to create the scene. And that just made the camera. Now, we can go click on camera attractor to show up points. Select this and hit command click and go create null object. And there we have a null that we can track all the stuff to. So let's go here and we will turn on circles. We'll make circles a three-dimensional layer. Okay, now it exists in the three-dimensional space of the clip. But it's not nearly in the right position, so I'm going to bring up W, the rotate tool. Rotate it like this, and rotate it like this. And you may have to go through sometimes and just keyframe the position or rotation if it doesn't exactly work out. And that's a pain, but you know, that's what you have to do sometimes. Bring it up to scale. And one thing I see that we need is we're going to toggle switches and modes. And switch this to add. And let's actually do that for the text as well. Alright, now let's bring up the arrows. And I'm going to hit the rotation tool, and I'm going to rotate at 90 degrees. Bring up the arrows, and pick whip. Actually, let's bring this into three-dimensional space. Sorry, P. And this over here, and actually, let's rotation. Sorry, W. Let's actually rotate this down a bit. This always got me last time. Okay, and W, rotate the Z-axis a bit. Okay, now this should be pointing down at that, and if we go up to scale, it doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. But one thing we have a problem with is this arrow doesn't match the red color. Simple fix, effect, color correction, hue and saturation, colorize, and we'll make this red. Saturation. We'll just make that 0. Actually, we'll just play with that. Actually, we may be able. No, this is cool. Okay, so we have this scale. Let's actually bring it up a bit. Alright, now we'll bring in the finished text, and we'll make this a three-dimensional layer as well. Okay. And we'll make sure the arrow is pick-whipped along with the finish, so they're all connected to that null object that contains the point of data. And we'll bring up the rotation tool, W, take along the Z-axis a bit. Alright, V, we'll come over here and we'll go like this. W, I think it's a little bit slanted. Okay. Okay, so we have this. And we're going to take the finish line here, sort of make it line up. And what we need is we need to go effect. I'm sorry, we need to go over here. And, yeah, more initializing. Okay, we need to go glow. We need to stylize glow. And drop that on the finisho. Oh, let's not drop it on the arrow. That would be bad. Finisho. And then we go threshold, radius, and really make that glow. We don't need it to be that bright, but just sort of there. And what we need to do is we need to go ramp, generate ramp, because I want the finish to have sort of this reddish orange type thing. So we're going to start up here, and then we're going to go down here. And we're going to make this sort of this yellowish color. I'll just do it in here. Yellow, and then end of ramp is going to be red. Actually, let's swap that. This is going to be red. And this is going to be sort of orange. color, and we'll blend it with the original much more. But that will give us our right up here and our finish line. That looks good. And now our circle needs to match the 8-bit thing, so we go mosaic, stylize on the circle, add a 0 to each of these, 100 by 100, and maybe add a glow to it a bit. Threshold and the radius way up. And it needs to be 0.5. And threshold down. And then, really speaking, there's our finish line. You know, we have our ghost. We're all good to go. And you sort of have to like, adjust the arrow's position because I have some previous keyframes and stuff. But this is generally the idea. So all we have to do is go into here, copy this, drag it into here. Actually, we just drag it into here, and we have the heads-up display. Now you'd have to, you know, make sure this is right and adjust the adrenaline bar as needed. But we're almost there. We just go Effect. Hold on. I'm sorry. Command Y. No. Option Command Y. There we go. We have a new adjustment layer here. CZ for color correction. And go apply the same color correction we saw in the previous shot. I don't know what the fuck this shot is. And this shot. And we're just going to take curves and copy. And we'll come back over to here and paste. Now, usually you apply the color correction over the entire thing and adjust per shot, not necessarily to this, but more to this thing. But take a tutorial, I'll show you how to do it. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you have the speed boost and you have the finish line. So yeah, I think you're good to go. So you've seen how to do it step by step. So no more excuses. Go out there and make good effects, people, or at least time travel effects, I guess.